Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Jose with the Hacking Real Estate and Entrepreneurship. I'm super excited today because we have Jaime Mejia. How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing great, Jose. Thanks for having me.
Of course, man. It's a pleasure having you today. I'm very excited about this video call. How about we start with a little introduction? Tell us a little bit about yourself, who you are, what you do, where you come from.
Of course. So my name is Jaime Mejia. I'm 33 years old. I was born here in Miami back in 1985 and moved around a lot. Was in Miami, Little Havana. And
What month? Sorry to interrupt. What month were you born?
August 5th.
August 5th? Oh, okay.
Yeah, so the Leos out there.
I was born in 1985 as well, but in October, so we're very close to each other.
Okay, awesome.
Nice. All right, good.
Yeah, so eventually we moved down to Homestead, Florida City area. And in 2003 is when I graduated high school. From there, after I graduated, I joined the Marine Corps. I served 8 years.
Oh, wow.
After that, I coached basketball, like for travel teams in high school, Gulliver Prep. And from there, in 2015, I opened my own barbershop.
Okay.
And 2 years later, became a real estate agent. So we're here now.
Awesome, man. Nice. Yeah, that's very interesting. So are you still managing the barber shop?
Yes. So I myself don't know how to cut hair. I used to go always to a barbershop every week to get my haircut. Like, you see, I always have a haircut.
Nice.
And I live by the zoo now, by Country Walk area.
Okay.
And around 2010 is when I bought my home, and I noticed, I was like, there weren't really any really good barbershops. So I was like, eventually I'm gonna open a barbershop. I'm gonna do a barbershop.
What's the name of your barbershop?
The barbershop is called Prestige Cuts.
Prestige Cuts. Okay.
Yeah.
I'll swing by sometime.
Yes, it's right by the zoo.
Okay.
152nd and 122nd. There's a Home Depot, a Chevy dealership is right there. But yeah, so the idea came about that. It's like, you know what? I want to open a good barbershop, some good barbers. And usually you'll find good barbers when you rent the chairs. So what I do is I rent the chairs. So I got about like 11 stations there. Currently I have 10 barbers. And yep, that's the business.
Nice, man. So what about that transition? Like, give me a little more story. Like, how did that happen? Like you got into the barbershop business, and then you decided to become a realtor.
Of course. So currently, I'm still the owner of the barbershop. How did I come about? To me, it was kind of simple. What happened is that in the beginning, like any business, you have to start it up and grow it. After like 2 years, I felt like the business was stable. It was running on its own. I usually go there, meet the clients, like the clients are there just talking to the clients. But for the most part, I have a manager that takes care of everything and a great group of barbers. They're great. So I was like, okay, what's next? I think that's one thing that a lot of people lack in when they build, they don't ask themselves, okay, what's next? And I enjoy like building things. Mm-hmm. So as soon as I saw that, I had enough time, because that's one thing you can purchase in life, which is time.
I agree.
I said to myself, well, like, I need to do something with my time. It's great. Yes, you have to be there in your barbershop, but I need to do something more with this time. So the real estate business always intrigued me for two reasons. One, because my bad experience I had as a realtor, when I purchased my first home.
Oh my God.
I just wanted to make sure that no one goes to that. I was like, this can't be that difficult. I had a bad experience. And two was because I always wanted to invest. So what better way to invest than actually knowing the business and becoming a real estate agent? So it was literally one day to the next. I said, you know what? What's next? I thought about the real estate that same day, which it was like 4 or 5 days before my birthday. It was like August 1st or July 31st, one of those. And that same day I went, signed up on Gold Coast, and I was practically right in the class in a couple of days. I did the class, I did the 1 week course, studied for 2 weeks, and took the state exam. But it was the reason why behind it was just what's next.
Right. You wanted to try a new business, keep growing. But you also mentioned the bad experience, and I think that's very important. I like to hear that story because a lot of people go through that, and for many reasons, for multiple reasons. But I like to get into that.
Of
So
course.
what happened?
So it took almost a whole year to find my home. Okay.
Yeah,
I
that's
told, of course, in the beginning, you're scared with the real estate agent because you don't know if you have to pay them. I didn't know that, so sometimes you shy away from
a
that.
lot of people feel
But
that. Yes.
they recommend me someone, and I told them what I was looking for, and it was in the Homestead area. That's where I was looking, and he started sending me properties, and it was nothing from what I wanted. All of them were over my price range, and second, most of them weren't what I wanted. So
Exactly.
even they were over because usually I get it now because I see what exactly what you want. Sometimes they're typically over, but what I was asking for, it was within the price range because I kept sending properties to him, and some of them were not available or whatnot. But this was during the 2010 period as well too, which at that time I didn't know we were going through that whole like recession thing, and luckily, I mean, which I know now, so I bought at a good time. But after a whole year of searching, I actually didn't even buy in Homestead. I ended up buying by the Country Walk area because I started looking. I was like, hey, I could almost with the same price I was looking, I could have moved up north, which I was telling him as well that, hey, if there's something else further north, then by all means, go ahead and show me. So I literally took that month where I just started searching the property on my own, and within a month, I found my own the property I wanted. And the bad side of that, of course, I went straight to the listing agent or straight there because I was already tired of this guy. But the thing was, yeah, just not a good experience on showing me properties. And then the problem was when I did buy the property, my actual property, that guy was it wasn't really good as well. It was a short sell, but the whole process, I just didn't know. I ended up buying a home with an actual person that was living in there, the squatter. He's like, yeah, the person's gonna leave as soon as you finish.
Ooh.
So I signed, and the person was there. I had to wait almost a whole month, and then after I got the keys, he was like, "Oh yeah, well, lucky they're leaving because if not, you would have to evict them." I was like, "I thought you told me
Oh
they were
my
going to be
God.
gone." Like it was just a whole mess. Legal terms that I know now, and I'm
But
like,
back then you didn't know. It's a bunch of new things, and the transaction has a ton of turns and a ton of things that happen that, yeah, you can expect as a new buyer, you cannot be expected to know those things.
of course, everyone thinks it's easy, and at the end of the day, it's not easy. You do need a professional to help you during the
Yeah.
most expensive purchase in your life and throughout the transaction. And to me, I was like, especially serving, and that's one thing I love to do is mostly with everyone. I help out everyone, but with veterans, most importantly, like you want to make sure after what they go through, like to make that transaction smoothly as possible.
Yes, yes, of course, of course. All right. So now, what's happening now? So you're working as a realtor. You're also a business owner. Um, let's get a little bit into managing both because I know what you mean, and I understand why you do it because I also do it myself. I'm a realtor. I'm a real estate investor. I also started from the ground up. I had to do a part-time job on the side to be able to sustain myself while I was doing these other business ventures. That side job was actually a bartender. So and sometimes people is like, well, why were you doing that? Why are you doing that while you're a realtor? Well, there are multiple reasons why. One of them is because, at the beginning, you need to be able to sustain yourself. And then at the same time, as you grow, you need cash flow. And that cash flow also helps, feed the business. Otherwise, you cap or you get to a certain level. So anyways, going back to you, so how are you managing that? Being a realtor and business owner, time, like how are you dealing with all those things?
Yeah. So as far as managing with time, luckily enough, like I said, I had a great group of barbers in there, and the manager is great. So I don't have to invest as much time in the barbershop. I still go once a week. The time I go in is when I collect the rent money. I do my deposit. So within a day, I do all my barbershop work. So as far as time, luckily enough, the barbershop is great running itself. So I have practically a whole time, my whole week to work in the real estate business. What you mentioned as far as having cash flow, that's really important when you jump into the next business. When I first started the barbershop, I had enough money to open the barbershop and sustain it for at least 6 months. I think a lot of people fail at that, where they start something, but they forget you're not going to make money in the beginning for a while in any business. So same thing with real estate. Some people just jump in head first and they don't have money to back them up. And what they don't know is that it's going to take a while to get your first deal. But once you get that first deal, it's just going to keep rolling and rolling. It's just the beginning. That's the hardest part. So with me, I knew that, a business plan. So I started my business plan on how the money I make from my barbershop, putting it into the real estate and how it's going to work. So that's what helped me out a lot. I'm very analytical and like to have things written down on paper and then actually execute. So that's how I've been able to manage my time. So really for the barbershop, I go once a week when I get my haircut, pay all the bills. And the rest of the time, it's just like me working in real estate full time.
Yeah. So when talking about real estate now, how long again have you been active as a realtor?
So active as a real estate agent, actually last year was my first year as a real estate agent. I got my license in 2017 in the end, but then we had Hurricane Irma. So that was when I would start looking for like the brokerages, and I narrowed it down to like my top 3. So in the end of the year, like November is when I ended up joining Lux Properties. And throughout my first couple months, what I did is start learning as much as I can. So technically my first year was last year, 2018. So I'm new in the business.
Nice, man. So how is that going? Because let's step a little bit into like the marketing yourself, because I saw that you were also doing a blog. So, and the blog is about you as a realtor, right? And also it's talking about your first year experience. So, and I really like that. I love that, because you're going out there and you're saying, hey, I'm a realtor, I'm at the beginning, whatever, but this is what's happening. This is what I'm doing, and this is how I'm talking to people. And I was really impressed by that. And, thumbs up, great job. But let's talk about that. Like, what make you get into that?
Okay, so first year as a real estate agent, to me, it was fun, exciting, challenging, but in the end of the day, rewarding. Yeah. Usually when people dive into this, you think you're gonna make the money immediately. Like, you see the shows, you see it's super easy, and then you get into business and you're like, this is not easy at all, right? Luckily for me, I had my first year was great. It was really good. But I guess everyone could determine what great could be or successful. But I had a goal of making at least, my goal was 18 million in sales. I know you got to shoot high.
That's right?
Fine. Did I reach that goal? No. The goal I was okay with was if I do 5 million. I didn't do 5 million.
Yeah. 5 million for a first year realtor rookie, that's pretty amazing. Yeah. So that's good. That's an amazing job, brother.
Yeah. So that was kind of like the goal. I ended up doing 3.5 closed sales.
Okay.
It was 4 million. 4 million. Because this year I got 2 closing, they were just new constructions. Okay. So for me, although I didn't reach my goal, for me it was still great. It was good. I think it's really good in the end of the day. But everyone has their own level of success. But I had a good year. But why? I put in my time. I put in the work. I continue to follow my business plan. I was patient. A lot of people are not patient. They don't understand that you have to be able to wait. I learned from a lot of people. Had a book with me and I kept around and wrote all the advice people were saying. I asked a lot of questions. I told everyone, I was like, I might be bothering you, but this is how I'm going to get better. I asked questions. So I asked a lot of questions. But after my first deal, from there, the ball was just rolling. It just took that those couple months to get the ball rolling, and from there, it was a great experience or a great time for 2018. I know you had some other questions regarding the first year.
Yes, because I saw that you started a vlog.
Wow. Okay, yes. So I like to be transparent. At the end of the day, sometimes people, it's like a relationship. You get in the beginning, you're not who you are because you're caring about what what that significant other thinks of you. No, I like to be who I am from the beginning. So I want to tell people, hey, yes, I'm a new agent. Yes, I'm new, but you're gonna get a guy that's gonna work really hard than anyone else. And to me, the reason I got into it was for two things. One, I'm actually not good in camera. I'm very shy. Yes, I'm very
You're
like
doing
right
pretty good right
now.
now, man.
My nerves right now are like, I'm not good in camera or doing the cold calling. So I said I need to be comfortable with myself and out in public. So I was like, what better way than to start like vlogging? And that's kind of like why I wanted to do it, to just actually get better at cold calling, get better in this business, and two, to document my journey, to show people that look, I'm just a normal guy just like you. That if I could do it, you could do it. And and especially if you look at as far as where it came from, the background, it wasn't parents with money, or if I had the one thing I had was drive. Okay, I was always driven since I was a kid, and played sports. So I love the competitiveness.
Yeah.
So I always a competitor, and I always had drive in me, and just to show that, look, it doesn't matter. You got to be out there, put yourself out there. Don't care what people think, and just go with it. Go with the flow.
Nice. So are you getting clients and leads from these blogs that you're doing?
Yes. So surprisingly enough, a lot of people don't think that, the online leads, but especially here in Miami, people want to buy home just because they're like, oh, this guy's Instagram famous and whatnot. Or it just gets yourself, at least your branding out there more. In the end of the
Exactly.
day. So I've gotten leads. In the beginning, I was posting some information about veterans, how I'm a veteran and helping veteran, and that actually got me a lot of veteran leads, and I've been getting a lot of leads from that. Being out there, putting yourself out there, it's their face recognition. The more they see you, the more they trust you, the more that they'll go with you. Then especially Miami, how many realtors we're talking about? Like 50,000. How do you set yourself apart? And a lot of people are posting. You see a lot of agents just posting the typical buy, sell, rent, or invest. Call me.
Or just so.
Or just so. Like, how can you be different? Like,
Yeah.
for instance, do you follow Pepsi? Do you follow Coke? A lot of people don't follow these brands. Like, you have to be able to give something. So people just don't want to follow a typical real estate agent to just show buy or sell. They want to see your life. They want to, you have to show what you're about. And to me, it was that. I want to show you my story. And the reason I didn't do it with my personal Instagram is because I don't want to like bother all my other friends. So I was like, oh, whoever wants to like follow me on the business side, they could follow me and see me from there. But that's kind of like why I kept it, different from I do have a personal Instagram and a business, because I get it. Like, you don't want to have that constant post or being the same thing. I try to do it different. I think like on my bio, I mentioned I want to motivate people. I want to have like vlogs of just different things just throughout the day. And just, this is me.
Nice, man. Yeah, no, definitely branding is extremely important because it's like you're saying, people get to know you and then they remember you. And then in the future, maybe right now they don't want to buy anything. They want to buy something in, I don't know, 12 months or 24 months from now, but you're constantly there. They remember you, they see you, they know that you are active, you are providing value to everybody through your social media platforms, and then boom, they decide to contact you. And that's what it is about. It's branding, and it's why you mentioned Coca-Cola. It's why people buy Coca-Cola right now. It's why people buy Pepsi. It's why people buy BMWs, whatever, because it's a brand, and it's also like a way to protect ourselves, because when something happens, talking about more like market, then people know who you are. So as a brand, you're able to survive, especially as a realtor, because realtor, it is a tough business. It's not easy. It's hard.
And
that is
And that what you I'm
Absolutely.
sorry to cut you off, but what you mentioned right there is the most important thing. And I tell everyone is be able to provide value. Don't
Yes.
just go and show the home because anyone could do that. You have to be able to provide value in anything you do. If it's when you're doing the CMA, your listing appointment, if you don't show value, then why are they going to go with you? So instead of doing the typical, okay, I advertise on Zillow and then you get the leads and I go to show a home. What value do I offer them? Just showing the home? No, I'm talking about the community itself, what's around there, what else can I do? Where a typical agent might just go show the home. So I always tell everyone, like, don't just do the basic, don't do the norm, go above and beyond. So that's the most important. And the second thing what you mentioned is the marketing. If Pepsi, if Coke, if BMW, all these companies are still out there in front of your face marketing every single day when they already have a name. Why they do it? Because it's the constant face. So they know who you are constantly in people's face. You have to do that.
Yeah.
You cannot just you cannot get into this business and not brand yourself, not market yourself because you're not gonna succeed. It's 50,000 realtors, you
Oh,
know.
there's a ton of realtors out there. Too many realtors.
Yeah. So
Too
people
many.
say, okay, I tell people you gotta be different. They're like, oh, how can I be different? I tell them it's easy. Just be yourself.
Exactly, and no, and that's clearly why you're being successful, and especially as last year was your rookie year. I believe
Yeah.
you did great, and and you're being humble, you're being honest, you're telling people, hey, this is I'm a new realtor. A lot of people out there don't do those things, and people can see through that, and I bet all your clients are loving you because not everybody that's what you're doing. And
Yeah.
that's pretty amazing. I also saw another video that cracked me up. I actually saw it this morning
Okay.
because you did a video about you calling a listing agent that doesn't answer the phone. that
Yes.
was that
Yeah.
was amazing because that's our daily life. We call and customers, it's hard for them to believe this.
Mhm.
When they send you a house, because nowadays people, you can send them homes, but with the internet, people have access to Zillow, Trulia, Realtor.com, you name it. There are a ton of platforms there that are feed by what we post on the MLS. What happened is that the clients, they send me a text message, hey, I saw this house, this is the address, blah, 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 I love it. I drove by it or whatever. And then the house either is not listed for sale or the realtor is just impossible to get a hold. And I saw your video and it was super funny because yeah, that's what we go through every day. And people don't believe it, but it is true. They just don't answer the phone. And we are here to provide service to the people that we're helping find the home. And then I just don't get it why they just can't answer the phone. And that's one of the things I base my business on, being always available for my clients. And I feel like when you do that, you're really like, taking a lot of steps in front of everybody else because they're not doing that. But yeah, that was a pretty great video, man. I loved it. I loved it.
Yeah, no, I had a great time doing that video. I think we could all been there where we've called some of these listing agents or agents and they just don't pick up the phone and it's just mind-boggling that people don't pick up their phone. They say real estate is a sales business, but to me it's a service business. The
It
house
is.
itself is going to sell itself. I could take, if a client wants to see a property, I could take them to that property and not say anything. And they'll go back to me and say, I want to buy it. So to me, it's about what you're going to do from the beginning of the transaction to the end. So the end of the day, to me, it's a service business. And my Mac is about to die real quick. I apologize. I totally forgot I didn't have it. Sorry about that. But
It's
to me,
okay.
the way I see is a service business, and that's where I think a lot of people lacking. Where yes, it involves sales and how to sell it, but that's when when you just care about the money, and that's what we have, unfortunately, a lot here in Miami.
No, of course, a service business and a people business for sure, man. There's no doubt about that. You make relationships with these persons. Either you had a relationship before or you end up with a relationship after that because you help them through this process, which is extremely important, you know, and especially for them. And then after that, they're super grateful, and they love you for what you did for them, you know. So you know, it goes beyond just finding a home, showing a home, and selling the home. It goes beyond that.
Right.
And like you mentioned at the beginning, you also have to be very patient, extremely patient. And there is a lot of things that are going to happen. There is always going to be obstacles with the transaction. I still haven't got a very clean transaction yet. I don't know if you have, but you know, let's talk about that. Like, name one struggle that you had last year that you probably overcome or probably didn't go well. Yeah, let's talk one experience that you had last year.
So, as far as struggles, to me, what I see, like, you know, just the struggles in the business is when you see clients that, you know, they're looking for a home and they're talking to you, and at the end of the day, the first step is to actually get qualified, you know, pre-qualified. In the beginning, I was showing homes around without clients being pre-qualified, and, you know, you learn from that. But you see these clients of yours, they don't get qualified, and it's just heartbreaking. So that's like, as far as the struggle, like to see somebody to go through that, it's really heartbreaking. But the great thing is, at least you can start helping them if it's fixing their credit or whatnot. But the struggle is that in the beginning, it's just, you know, you don't want to crush anyone's dreams. So that's one of like the struggles I see. Now, throughout like the contract side, you know, you struggle with people either picking up the phones, agents just not being responsive.
Any crazy transactions that you had?
I'm sorry?
Any crazy transaction that you had last year?
Crazy transaction.
Like, I don't know, like the owner.
Yeah, it is. You know, there's always, like what you mentioned, none of them are the same, which I love. This is what I tend to get bored of things easily, and that's one thing I love about the real estate business. Everything's always different. Every transaction is not the same. You learn from your experience from each deal, but they're not the same. The struggles. You see, I mean, I know it's one of those in your mind, but I just can't think of right now. But I've gone through a couple of them.
Yeah, well, you'll probably have them pretty soon. Maybe you're lucky enough to not have any craziness at that crazy level yet.
So,
but you know,
I can have one. I'm sorry. Like, we had one where we were under contract. It was a condo. Of course, I didn't, and it was my first condo. I didn't know about, like, for the most part, the condos are 20 or 25% down. If not, like the 5%. My client only wanted to put 5%, or she only had enough to put 5% down. I didn't know the difference between FHA and conventional. This was early on, so I got to know the difference and how you can't really buy a condo with FHA. There's only a certain amount approved. And we did go into contract. She was conventional under this property, 5% down, but I didn't know about reserves. You know, so this condos didn't have reserves. So for a whole month, we were under contract. She's all excited. She's gonna get to the place. When we got back with the lender, like, oh, this condo does not have any reserves. She's gonna have to put more than 5% down, and she was just crushed. And I didn't know. And you know, I got this long message about the, you know, different things there, but I was able to at least guide it and tell, look, it's gonna be okay. And then within a month or so, we found another property and moved on. So there's different things like that. I just try to take like the bad things and put it away. But yeah, you go through a lot of different things within real estate.
Oh yeah, man, I know. I have owners that change their mind and representing the buyer, and then the seller is what wakes up and he's like, "Oh, I decided I don't want to sell this property anymore, so I just changed my mind," you know. And then all of a sudden we get into this mess because this guy now doesn't want to sell, and that's what we have to deal with every day as realtors, you know. And then you have to go to the client and be like, "Listen, the seller just changed his mind. Now there are certain things that we can do, you know." We can fight it and try to get it closed. You know, at the end, like that transaction we close, you know, but it's, you know, going through that process and letting the client know what's happening, and then they get super frustrated. Yeah, you gotta be patient.
Yeah, no, there is. Luckily, I haven't ran into that scenario. It was kind of like the opposite, where we were under contract. I was representing the seller, and the buyer needed to sell their home, and everything was set in stone. And then the buyer's buyer couldn't buy their property anymore, so we had to wait, and it was just a struggle process through there. So I could definitely understand.
Yeah. So okay, now you talked at the beginning that you're a very driving person. Um, what drives you? What makes you get up every day, and get to work, which you obviously enjoy. Probably for you is no work, and go out there every day and help people find their houses, and then also go and take care of your other business, barber shop, whenever, because you obviously, even though you're not present there maybe every day, but you still the owner. You still have to be involved. So what's your drive every day?
To me, is my drive every day is knowing where I came from and knowing where I want to get to go, or where I want to be at. And what drives me every single day is that I want to get to a certain point in my life. I want to leave a legacy, mainly leave a legacy behind. So I wake up every day, I have my goals, and I ask myself, did I do enough today to reach my goals? Really, I'm more self-driven. There's something, I'm not married, I don't have kids. At some point, I want to get married, I want to have kids, but I want to set the example for my kids that it doesn't matter where you come from, what you have, that you can make it, that we are here in America, a land of opportunities. Fortunately, our parents, came here and brought us here where, in a lot of countries, you don't have these opportunities. So you see every day where people just don't do really anything with their life. And to me, it's just like, you live here. And there's a lot of people that wish they could have the opportunity of being
This opportunity.
So to me, it's just self-driven, and to me, that's what I want to be. I want to leave a legacy behind, and know that you can do something out of it. That's the most important thing.
Awesome, brother. I love it. So yeah, we're getting close to the end.
Okay.
So any last thought that you want to throw there to anybody who is going to be watching this video after today?
No, for the most part, this is, like I said, my first time doing or like a podcast. So hopefully I'll be good at it. I do want to tell people that if you're not good at something, it's okay. Just do it more and you will eventually get better. This is why I'm here today, because I know I'm not good on camera. I just want to get better and just do it. And second is to don't listen to the outside noise. Don't care about what people think. Like, go out there, do it. Whatever it is that you want to accomplish, just go ahead and do it, because the only person that can stop you is yourself.
That's totally right, man. Totally right. Well said. Well, thank you so much for being with us today. I appreciate it, and we'll see you next time.
Jose, thank you for having me, and I'm glad. Let me know anytime.